welcome to the regular board meeting of the Cameron Park Community Services District. We are going to call the meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, September 18th at 6:32. And Jill, we start with the roll call.
Director Stovey?
Here.
Director Morrison?
Here.
Director Carlson?
Here.
Director Wooten?
Here.
Director Kingston?
Here. And Holly, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please? Before we adopt the agenda, I'd like to call your attention to removing the reconvene to open session. That should be removed from the agenda before we approve it. A motion to adopt the agenda with that removal?
Madam Chair?
Yes?
My name is Joe Barn. I'm a longtime resident of Cameron Park, and I'd like to speak on agenda item number 3.
Okay, when we get to item 3, we'd love to happily listen to you at that point.
Adoption of the agenda is item 3.
Oh, okay. So, you wanted to speak to that right now? Oh, regarding adopting the agenda?
Absolutely.
Okay, yes.
Hi, my name is Joe Barn, a longtime resident of Cameron Park. I've either been a participant or a close observer of the CSD for about 30 years. Over that time, there's been, we've had a few bad general managers, we've had a few bad board members, and occasionally the community has been divided and the CSD board has been divided. And over the last, what I'm requesting you to consider doing is moving number 8 to the top of the agenda and adopting item 8 when you adopt the agenda, because it certainly is a non-controversial item. Over most of the last 30 years, 25 of them, Paul Ryan was a goodwill ambassador for the community of Cameron Park and for the CSD board. And for the CSD, he worked countless hours off the clock. He's brought a lot of people here tonight. Shiva Frenson and former director Dave Johnson don't agree on much. They don't spend election nights together. But they agree on this item, that this park should be named after Paul Ryan. Barbara Rogers and I have had many differences over the years. We agree wholeheartedly on this item. So I respectfully request that you add number 8, add it to the agenda and approve it as you adopt the agenda. If you choose not to do that, we're going to go on for hours tonight about the propriety of this recommendation. And you guys have a lot of more controversial items that frankly require more analysis on your part. But this is a no-brainer, so I request as a former CSD board member, that you add this item to the, make it part of the motion to adopt the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
Is that going to be after the consent?
Add it to the consent. You want to add it, right? You want to add number 8 to the consent. I believe that was the request. To move item 8 to the consent calendar. Okay, so your motion is to move item 8 to the consent calendar. It is. Is there a second?
Any second comment? I would like to remind my colleagues on the board of our 2-hour meeting. And in order to, I love having all the people here in the room, and in order to attract more residents, essentially some with families, some with full-time jobs, to be able to attend the meeting, maybe run for the board, I do request respectfully that my colleagues attempt to keep to the goal of the 1.5 to 2. Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the table to approve, to move item 8 to the consent agenda, is what you asked for. Okay, we have a second. So, is that right? So go ahead and vote on that. So, all in favor?
You get that? I just want to make sure that for the record that we have, so can you repeat, who made the motion? Was that Holly?
Holly made the motion to move item 8 to the consent agenda,
And what was the second?
and that was Felicity.
Felicity was the second.
Oh, I haven't voted yet. I voted no.
You didn't call for
Okay, those in favor?
aye.
Those opposed? No. And Eric? And Ellie? Yeah, okay, so that motion failed. So we're not moving item 8 to the consent agenda. All right, so we still need to have a motion to adopt the agenda, and I would move to adopt the agenda, removing the error typo, the section saying reconvene the open session on the agenda.
You're not having closed session?
Error when we cut and pasted it into the agenda, we inadvertently.
Reconvene the open session.
Right, and so there was no, there can't be a report out yet because you haven't had it. So, use that. There. We are removing the verbiage, reconvene the open session, that section from the agenda, and I move to adopt the agenda as is. Without that, with that removed. We have a second from Felicity. All in favor? Aye. 5-0. Rachel, President.
So,
Moving on.
Going out to the community. You know,
On the agenda, I guess we should have asked for other comments on the agenda for sector.
I don't know.
Well, I'm asking. We have one for. Okay, yes, please go ahead.
Part of that item, the Felicity brought up, keeping meetings to an hour and a half to 2 hours is completely ridiculous. You cannot restrict the members of the community to get up here and talk and keep these meetings at an hour and a half to 2 hours. It doesn't make any sense, and it should not be put in there. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the topic of the agenda?
Thanks for having a chance to talk, correct? Agenda items are ready.
Okay, moving on to the next section is recognitions and presentations. Nothing that is a joke.
come on up. Now, about you. Pete and I have crossed paths over the
us through the pledge. February 5th, 1994, the seasonal lifeguard. And she elevated to a recreation supervisor, or recreation coordinator position, and in 2003, she promoted to a recreation supervisor position. And the recreation department, what it is today with summer spectacular, a Halloween event, classes and activities, and the things that happen at the community center community showcase are a reflection of her work that she has been doing for the last 25 years. So we are really pleased to be recognizing with her tonight. Before I give this gift, I want you to know that there is a flyer on the table in the back on October 4th. We will be having a barbecue at Cameron Lake. Also, they'll be sign-up information a little bit later on sent to you. Also, there is a banner in the entryway with a bunch of pens, so if you'd like to leave a message for Tina, please do so on your way out or sometime during the meeting, and then we can give that to her on the phone. So with that, we have, and I'll show you, it's not quite done yet, this is the gift from the district. It is a picture of Summer Spectacular fireworks. The staff and the board are going to sign it, and then we will put it in the frame, and it'll be yours. And you can't take it home today, but you can take a look at it. So that's it. Sorry, it's not in the budget.
I'd like to say a few words. 25 years, wow. I've always enjoyed working with the community, and the members have always made me strive to improve, especially with the special events. An example would be the Easter egg hunt. A member donated money for the district so we could purchase friendly-looking bunny suits instead of those creepy, eerie ones that are in town. Speaking of Easter egg hunts, things have changed from back when the days I started. We used to hard-boil the eggs in color, 2,400 eggs, cooking them both at Station 88 and 89, and the guys just loved that wonderful aroma that lasted for a few weeks after. Thanks very much for allowing us to do that. So I see where the CSC is now compared to when I began. No dead polywogs in the lagoon at the beginning of the season. Parks were added, like Christy McCullough Park, and also improved, as well as the community center and more. I could go on and on. I've enjoyed my time here, experienced the gamut of the management and members of the board, some better than others, as Joe has said. I will miss the community and staff I have worked with, as well as the staff that has worked for me. And I look forward to my next chapter in life, and I will focus on a new and different course. Thank you.
Again, October 4th, out at Cameron Park Way. If you don't receive an email, give the office a call, and we'll get word out to everyone so that you know. Before that. All right, we have our next item is Dane Watt. And I'm just going to present the district transparency.
Good evening, board members, staff, community members. Seen me before, my name is Dane Watt, I'm the field coordinator for the California Special District Association, the local liaison to Special Districts in Colorado County. Here tonight on behalf of the Special District Leadership Foundation, which is the foundation arm of CSDA, to award the district with the District Transparency Certificate of Excellence, as pointed out, that has been earned obviously earned. The Leadership Foundation, as you may or may not be aware, is dedicated to promoting excellence in special districts through various recognition programs, one of them, of course, being the Transparency Certificate. So let's talk a little bit just about kind of what the program actually entails, how you essentially earn the certificate. I'm sure staff is no doubt aware of the extensive checklist items that we have to go through to do that. We wanted to provide some background for the board and certainly the community as well. So there's three main subject areas for this program. There's first the basic transparency requirements, as we call it, having your ethics trainings and having those posted on the website for all the board members, filing the reports you have to file with the state controller's office in a timely manner, etc. And then there's extensive website requirements. So of course, having a website, one, but putting your board meeting schedules on it, most importantly, putting your budgets, your audits, some of that financial information on there as well, as part of this checklist that we have. And then finally, there are some outreach requirements, as we call them. You have to select two of the following freedom of mention, which includes either having a regular district newsletter, having an annual informational public budget hearing, or doing what's called community transparency reviews. There's a number of steps involved in that. So it's, as I like to say, I make these presentations, as you might imagine, quite frequently to districts and more in recent times. It's not just putting up a website and you're all good to go. There's not always complying with a number of state laws that you have to, but also following a lot of best management practices in the field of local government, essentially. And another thing I'd like to point out as well is that the certificate's good for 2 years, and we're constantly going through kind of a review process as to adding new things, what needs to be added, because obviously transparency is an ongoing thing. It doesn't just stop at 2019 or 2018 or whatever year it may be. So your certificate is, seen it as will be good for 2 years, and then you'll be required to re-out, and no doubt these new requirements going forward with that. So, and then the second thing I wanted to point out as well, kind of off the script, if you will, is one of the reasons it's so important for us as CSDA is you're aware CSDA is also your advocate, legislative advocate down in Sacramento, and a lot of the bills that we're engaged in relate to transparency or special district operations, et cetera. And it's when we have districts who go through this program, and take this step, it's not something that we require by any stretch. It's voluntary. Districts have chosen to do this. It sure helps our advocacy efforts on your behalf and push back on some of these new requirements that may make districts' lives a little more challenging, if you will. So anyways, just wanted to kind of make that connection with everybody. We sure do appreciate it at the SDA, and you guys, again, taking this question I had, the presentation I made a week ago, this is not something that the SDA forces on you, you guys chose to do this, and we certainly appreciate that. Obviously, we know the importance of transparency. Like I always say, it allows for accountability, right? Your community, the ratepayers, taxpayers, et cetera, of the CSD. So, thank you again, and with that, you have the certificate there, and just on behalf of the board and the staff, Special District Leadership Foundation, congratulations on earning our district transparency certificate. Thank you.
If you would like a photo, the CSDA uses it in their social media to give us recognition for getting the transparency certificate. So if you'll join us at the podium, we'll have a quick photo and Jane, and Leon's way, and we can move on to this agenda item. Thank you. Thank you, Jane. And moving on to our next agenda item is approval of the consent agenda. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve, what I'd like to call the general registry.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda with pulling the check register. Do we have a second? Oh, wait, we want to go out to the public. The public want to make any comments on that? Okay, do we have a second? Oh, you're coming up? Okay, I just thought you...
I would like to request that item 8 be heard before the item 8.
I would just say, if that's the will of the board, then I would ask Director Morrison. Director Morrison needs to remove her motion. Before the motion.
So I withdraw my motion and move that we hear item 8 before the consent calendar.
Can we have a discussion right now? We can discuss that right now? Yes. I just have a quick question. Did you have a very long discussion on the check register? Perhaps people in the audience would like to hear that.
I would hope so, but we have a motion on the floor.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to move item 8 before the consent agenda. Do we have a second?
Second?
All in favor? No?
Like clarification on the motion, just to make sure that we are approving hearing item 8 before the consent agenda items that have been moved. Or are we saying that we are hearing item 8 before we approve the consent agenda? That was not clear, sorry.
Holly removed her motion, and so the motion on the table right now is to move item 8 before the approval of the consent agenda. So we have 3 votes. We need Ellie and Eric. Do you want to move item 8 before the consent agenda? Sorry? Yes? Okay. Ellie? Okay, so we have 4, we have ayes and 1 no. So that means we are moving on to item 8 before the consent agenda.
Greetings, everyone. I'll try to have a minute. Good. So, greetings, everyone. I just want to keep this up for the audience a little bit. Paul Ryan served as a district employee, started in 1992, and so 2002 he resigned and became a board member, and then he served on the board, and this is according to district records. Served on the board until 2006, when he resigned from the board and then returned to the park superintendent position for the district. I will let you know that the district records are not always clear, both personnel and board records, but we do know that Paul was very instrumental
in a leadership position during the construction of the community center and also the construction of the pool. The community raised funds for a memorial for his death at Kevin Park Lake. We have a few photos here so that you can see what the memorial is. With that, that's the staff report. Very quickly, and welcome to us. Director's report. Former park superintendent here at the district is going to speak on behalf of the President.
Thank you very much. I am stand up. I wrote since that was the first time I was there is in part of Karen Park. 2 3 is not okay. That's the person. I'm embarrassed. Not okay. Thank you to the two that said yes. My name is J.R. Hitchcock. I'm a former park superintendent, and I'm here today to plead for your approval of Agenda Item 8, renaming the Hacienda Park to Paul Ryan Park. Per District Policy 1061, Section A, Article 2, a district park may be named after significant individuals. I challenge anybody to find anybody more significant than Paul Ryan. Records might be lost, but I've lived them. That's the greatest superintendent to ever work here. This building's here because he made it happen. Day in and day out. District Policy 1061, Section C, Article 1. A district park may be renamed if the person being memorialized died in the line of duty serving the CSD. And this one hurts. He died here. He died working for Camber Park. Like a bomb to me, he died. And I lost it. Sorry. He served. I got a lot of speech and I'm not going to get through it. A lot of people here talk about better than I do. This one hurts. He deserves it. It's a park named after a street. Give the man a legacy. Please, give the man a legacy. That's all I got.
So we've got a PowerPoint here. If you want us to run through the PowerPoint. He's just going to help you out with that. Okay, so we've got a PowerPoint. And you want the clicker or do you want to,
Okay, I'm just going to briefly go through some of it. Obviously, there was a letter that was submitted to the board in wanting to memorialize Paul Ryan and rename the park after Paul. He obviously wore many hats in his association with the district and obviously provided superior leadership no matter the task. From his earlier years of service, the ideas, plans, and supervision to create many of the iconic attractions and facilities, including Charting Corner, Cameron Park Lake, the Lagoon Dam, Community Center, Skate Park, and the Dog Park. Please accept our request to rename Hacienda as Paul Ryan Park. It's obvious to anyone who knew Paul how much he loved our special community and all the parks. Hacienda Park houses the off-leash dog park, Paul's last major project, and embodies the incredible partnership he formed to take an idea through a successful completion. There is no one more deserving for the community acknowledgement for contributions than to have Cameron Park a special place to live. Friends of Paul Ryan represent a vast group of community members, co-workers, dignitaries, friends, and families who love and respected Paul for his charm, humbleness, sense of humor, vision, dedication, steadfast loyalty to the community, teams, staff, co-workers, fire department, family, volunteers, board of directors, friends, and family, never seeking personal praise and acknowledgement for his accomplishments. And then his timeline, he also, as I said, if you were lucky to work with him, you were, if you worked for or with Paul, you were very fortunate, and so many of us did have that honor. It is with evidence of Paul's service to the district, the legacy of the accomplishments we are presenting, and the love and respect he garnered throughout the community that we ask the board of directors to share our opinion and agree to honor Paul Ryan by renaming Hacienda Park Paul Ryan Park. A small measure to thanks and gratitude for the remarkable man. His record was that employment record was he was hired in 1992 as a mechanic, 94 mechanic tech 1 to maintenance foreman. In 96, he was promoted to the park superintendent. In 2002, he resigned as the park superintendent, and later that year was elected to the board of directors. In 2006, he resigned from the board of directors, and then was rehired as park superintendent. And there was a period of time, I believe it was 4 months, in between general managers, that both Livia and him were co-acting general managers, and they both oversaw the community center project. And then he was co-general manager Paul Ryan was speaking at the grand opening and the dedication of the new Cameron Park Community Services Center, which was in 2009. And then leading a tour in the newly constructed community center, the social room, as co-acting general manager, parks facility superintendent, and acting general contractor. Paul knew the property like the back of his hand. The community center, which is the jewel of the community, was built under the supervision of Paul, co-general manager, with Livia Amadon, co-general manager. He also acted as the general contractor while also fulfilling his responsibilities as park superintendent. The community center pool, which is a key element in the community center complex, which is a beautiful swimming pool, was built under the management of Paul. What an asset it has been for the residents of our community as well as the county. In addition to the district basketball leagues, many district events are hosted in our spacious gymnasium, including larger musical venues, our annual Christmas craft fair, built under the watchful eye of Paul Ryan. His community center commitment, both him and Livia were honored. The depth of the loyalty and the commitment to the CSD, co-general managers Paul and Livia Amadon were each presented with this commemorative plaque at a board of directors meeting. They both took on the extreme task of managing the district, overseeing the financial and construction aspects of the community center complex, all the while being responsible for their own positions and staff. The Cameron Park Skate Park was a popular addition to the district amenities. It was well attended by a range of skaters from elementary school age to young adults, and I'm assuming also older adults too. It provides a source of athletic excellence. The amenities were constructed under the assistance and supervision of Paul Ryan. Then the iconic Summer Spectacular, sponsored by the Cameron Park CSD. This summer gala, from its inception, was managed by Paul Ryan, superintendent, recreation supervisor Tina Helm, and now it has grown into a delightful family event of 20 years tradition. Thank you. And the Cameron Park community, Station 89 and Gateway Park, Paul worked well with our fire department partners, and he also worked diligently to maintain our parks for the enjoyment of all. The Cameron Park Lake, a much beloved and highly respected manager, Paul earned his staff loyalty and dedication to the district with his kind, loyal, and steady management style. You know, this photo was in front of the brand new playground equipment that was put in over at Cameron Park Lake. And then the lake and the lagoon. For many years, families have come to this beautiful park and enjoyed the many features offered, from fishing to boating, tennis to pickleball, playground to gazebo, walking past the swimming lagoon. Paul was instrumental in the development of many of these attractions. And then there's some photos of the Girl Scouts in Cameron Park Lake. Paul was with the Girl Scouts receiving a certificate of appreciation for beautifying the park. I believe they planted flowers and did some things around the gazebo, around the entrance of the lake. Christian McCullough Park, Paul loved all the district parks and oversaw the development and maintenance of them. The Foothill Cruisers Car Show, Paul was along with members of the Foothill Cruisers Car Club, created a fantastic and very popular car show held at Christian McCullough Park, and it was always a community favorite. And the Haunting of the Dog Park, Paul Ryan, Recreation Supervisor, Board of Directors, and General Manager, presented a plaque of appreciation to the El Dorado Dog Owners Guild President Holly Morris. The distinction was for their efforts in raising funds for the construction of the first off-leash dog park on the western slopes of the Sierra Nevada foothills at Hacienda Park. His supervision and guidance throughout the entire process was invaluable to this project. In addition to complete supervision and design, construction, and budget advice, he approved and and guided 3 local Boy Scouts to their successful achievement of Eagle Scout distinction. This much-needed community amenity was Paul's last major construction project, and this is the site the Friends of Paul Ryan are requesting to be named after him. And Paul is with Eldorado Dog President Holly Morrison, Board of Directors of the Boy Scouts who achieved Eagle Scouts rank for their volunteer work at Hacienda Dog Park, as well as Paul attending the staff Christmas party, and district staff, and then community members. One of the volunteers was Janice Hare, who I know spent time over at Cameron Park Lake helping out, and also does help out over here now, as well as Director Tucker, Chief Teeter, and Webb. And always his catchphrase was, "A beautiful thing." Thank you.
Okay. Bringing it back to the board, is there any questions that the board has regarding the presentation or the proposed meeting? If not, we will bring it up to public.
Yes, I have a question. Thank you for the education. It's really amazing to learn all about this individual and how much he contributed to Cameron Park. It's really wonderful. I am wondering, I noticed, can people in the back hear me?
You need to bring it closer to your mouth.
How about this? I got it. How about this? How about this?
How about this? Thank you for the education. I'm really pleased to learn about Mr. Ryan's contribution to Cameron Park. I did notice in the photo of the memorial bench that it has the middle initial J, and I'm just wondering if it's possible to include that in the proposed name, Paul J. Ryan, to ensure that we're talking about this Mr. Ryan. That's my only question.
Any other comments from the board?
Yes, first of all, I do really want to thank everybody for coming to address the comment earlier. I appreciate that this is on the agenda and you're all over the state to speak because it's clear that Mr. Ryan made an impact on a number of lives. For some of us on the board who did not know that, all we had was 2 pieces of paper and a letter. Speaking of dignitaries, people we didn't know, you are as good as any letter to be handed to us, and I appreciate that. And I want to address the comment that JR made. Thank you for your passionate presentation of that. You asked us to give the man a legacy. I want to make sure you understand you already have it. And it's right here. This does not raise or diminish that, but I just want to make sure you understand that this is the affirmation of what seems to be a legacy already. So I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. The only question I have, and I think this was answered by the members we talked before, there hasn't been much history in renaming things in our community. There is already a memorial to Mr. Ryan, and so I'd like to hear from any of the board members their thoughts on that 2 memorials to a person in our community. This is not a denigration of anything or to downplay anything. It's just a simple question because there, as far as I know, there isn't anybody else in history that would have. The footnote that was in the deed is Cameron Park's only existed for 50+ years. Mr. Ryan served the community almost half of that. So that's incredibly significant and important consideration. I'd like to hear from the board their thoughts on having 2 memorials to a person in our community.
I think we should go out to the public before we further discussion with the board.
I'll do that. You had a question for the board member?
I'm happy to.
And having been here to understand what happened after Paul left the planet and the administration that was in place and the foot dragging that went on as the community sought to honor Mr. Ryan. When it didn't happen, the family and friends of Paul
CAL FIRE unit chief and your Cameron Park fire chief. I met Paul in 1992 when he started here. I started just a few months before him with the Cameron Park Fire Department. A truly amazing, humble man. He wasn't, to sum it up, he really wasn't just a CSD or Parks employee. He was a community servant. He was a public servant. He was all about the community, all about the public, all about taking care of everybody. Truly an amazing man. If there was ever a person in the history of Cameron Park CSD to name a park after, it's Paul Ryan.
Excuse me, I wasn't going to speak tonight, but I will address something that Mr. Harm said. This is a no-brainer. And insofar as a bench at the park, that is not enough. The impact that man had on this community is incalculable. And the fact that you don't know him, well, you should have been more involved in the community. You missed a wonderful opportunity to know a great human being. He wasn't just a public servant. He was a pillar of the community. The reason we have Cameron Park, and we have the amenities we do, is because Paul Ryan dedicated his life to this district. And to even question why we should have a public park named after him is just incomprehensible. And it is a no-brainer, a 5-0 no-brainer.
Thank you very much for taking this matter up. My name is John McGinnis. I'm a former Cameron Park resident. I was on the board of directors, however. And all the accolades that have been explained about Paul Ryan are absolutely true. Pillar of the community, extraordinary, hardworking, dedicated man, honest, forthright, represented everything you want to be paramount in the community. And I think most notably, during my time on this board, there was a significant amount of strife over the years before, frankly, and after, and he was kind of the voice of reason that could pull people together. He was very much an ambassador in this community. So it goes beyond what you would expect him to do as a dedicated, competent employee. He was much more than that. He was truly a part of the community. I strongly urge you to pass this and dedicate the park, Husker Park, which of course is not named after any individual. If it was, I would frankly see it differently. That's not the case. This is the appropriate course of action, taking a strongly urge you to do so. Thanks very much.
Hello, my name is Dale Berger. I served in those seats that you're sitting for 8 years, and part of those years were with Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan always cared about this district, always looked what was best for this district. And this facility we're sitting in, it was going to be phased in different phases. But Paul Ryan called me one night at 10:30 at night and said, I got an idea. And I met with him, and now we have this facility that we have here, completed all at one time. So not to name a park after him because he has a bench is silly. You guys should vote the park, rename it, and honor all the way it should be honored. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Larry Berg, longtime resident of Cameron Park, Shingle Springs. I met Paul in 1992 when he first came up here, and some of the comments, I wasn't going to speak, but some of the comments have prompted me to get up here. Back in those days, in those late 80s and early 90s, I was involved in youth sports. I had a young son of my own. I looked out here in the crowd, and I see, some of those young boys, they're now men. They're standing in front of you, asking for you to name a park for their father and their coach. He was a very good person. You could count on him. When we had to come to the board meetings in those days to get permission for the kids to play on the fields, there was even an incident where we had to explain, why do the kids need to wear cleats? It tears up the grass. Well, they were soccer fields. They were used for baseball and Little League. And, there's people out there that probably remember that when we had to come to the board to get permission to play on these fields. So John he was very instrumental in turning this around. I used to stand over here at Christie McCullough Park with him, coaching the soccer kids. and him and another friend of mine who's not with us anymore, John Peeler, we talk about lights. Why can't we get lights out here for these kids? And that would be, one of the conversations. So every once in a while, I'll see portable lights out there, but I don't see overhead lights like Paul would talk about. So with that in mind, I hope that you guys do this and you go forward and you vote this in favor of Paul Ryan and his family and the kids that he helped in the community of Cameron Park. Thank you.
Does anyone else like to speak regarding this item?
Good evening. I see some recognizable. I went first. This is quite an emotional topic, so I attempt to keep myself straight and not be too repetitive of these beautiful words and accolades that you give my father. They're very heart-touching. I have a letter that my mother wrote, and I'd like to read on. First and foremost, the Ryan family would like to thank all of you that have come out to show your support of this proposal being voted through. It's very much appreciated. The board of directors, we would like to say, and we know not all of you knew Paul, but if you had the opportunity, you would without a doubt agree that there could never be a more deserving person to receive such a tribute. From the time we moved here in the Bay Area, Paul embraced his community and never let go. One of the many things we loved about him was his hard work and determination that he showed for something he felt so passionate about. That something was Cameron Park. We as a family saw firsthand how many hours, weekends, holidays he spent dedicated to his community. Many times we saw him rallying the troops, ourselves included, to help prepare for events so that no detail was left undone or blind. To say that he was simply involved in his community would be a huge understatement. There isn't a corner that you can go to where there isn't a piece of him left behind. Paul truly did make Cameron Park a special place to live. We thank the board for their consideration of this wonderful event.
Considers Paul not only extremely professional, but his unwavering dedication to this district has been demonstrated time and time again. And Rusty Craig urges you to move this motion or approve this item. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak on Barbara Rogers, Cameron Park. I've been coming in these meetings for 15 years. I've lived in this community since 1991. Paul Ryan was one of the kindest, most gentle human beings I've ever met. He cared about his community, he cared about his fellow employees, and he cared about the citizens that took the time, month after month, to come to these meetings.
He deserves this honor. And for those of you that are questioning it, you've never been involved in this community prior to really your stint here on the board. If you had been involved and had come here to these meetings and got to know the people like we have, you would know the kind of person Paul Ryan was. He deserves this honor. I think it's displayed. Look out at the crowd that's here. They're here for Paul. They're here for Paul and for Paul's family. So I really hope you all search your hearts and do the right thing tonight.
My name is Joe Arnold. I work in the county of El Dorado, and we have problems with the county that we can't solve ourselves. Our CalPERS problem, road maintenance funding problem. We need help from a lot of people to solve our problems. Your board is no different. This CSD has problems. Structural financial problems, etc. The CSD has problems. You're going to need help. You're going to need the community behind you. And what Paul, I'm going to get choked up, but what Paul always did was bring everybody up, bring the community together. And trust me, you're going to get more help from this community. Help with your problems, the community's problems, the CSC's problems, if you move forward with this item. Larry Berg reminded me of some times when I was on board in the early 90s, and we had a general manager who was openly hostile to youth sports. He wanted thermonuclear war with youth sports groups. And I know Paul took time away from his family. The general manager's goal was to have the fields unplayable for the youth sports group, so they go somewhere else and leave the CSD alone. Paul worked countless hours away from his family, off the clock, getting Rasmussen Park ready for the kids to play. And I strongly urge you to bring us with Paul's help tonight. Let's get the community together. And let's start working all together to solve the CSD's, the Cameron Park problem. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Sheba Frenson, Cameron Park resident and former CSD director. Paul Ryan was a good man and a peacemaker. He contributed a lot and made a tremendous positive impact in our community. I wholeheartedly support this agenda item, and I urge you to support it as well. I would like to have, I have a request from the chair to do a roll call vote on this item. I want to make sure that my request is clear, that the council and the chair, you get the motion in a second and you call each director's name and their ayes or no. So, thank you.
I'm not a very emotional person here tonight. I can see why people can get up there at the podium and cry. I met Paul Ryan in, I think it was 2006. And I started coming to meetings and finding out how dysfunctional the board could be. And the general managers that we had at that time were not functional either. And I found out the only person I could go to if I needed any help, or needed anything done, was Paul Ryan. Sometimes he couldn't do what I wanted, but he was so congenial and he always tried to help and do what was right. Tonight, to listen to a board member say that he has some question as to whether we should name 2 places in Cameron Park for Paul Ryan. If I had eaten dinner tonight, I would get sick to my stomach just hearing that. Because I think if we named 4 parks after Paul Ryan, we might not even at that point be doing the right thing. So I hope that if any member of this board thinks that they want to vote against Paul Ryan, they better have a really good reason and be positive that that's what they want to do, because it could be really detrimental.
Does somebody else like to address this issue?
Everyone held together but me, so I apologize. And I attacked him, I apologize, but no man, no man, no. You heard what he did, or who he did it for. These aren't just people that live on one block, one street. They're everywhere. This is Cameron Park, and there's so many more of them too. You said that there's never been a park like this. Well, this is the perfect person to start a park like this. You've got to start somewhere. And this would just be insanely the right place to start. To mention your community and support. There's always been fight. People in this room fight all the time. It's the only time I've seen them all come together for something. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. If you want to bring a community together, do the right thing. Please do the right thing today. Please do this. Thank you.
I'd like to see if anybody else would like to speak and remind you that you speak once. Anybody else like to address this item? Great, bringing you back to the board. I am absolutely convinced, and I thank everybody for coming here and helping us understand how important Paul Ryan is to the community. I'd like to make a motion to rename Hospital Park to Paul J. Ryan Park. We'll do a roll call vote.
There was a request for a poll vote, so, Director Scobie?
Aye.
I believe that Holly seconded. Is that right? Yes, yes.
Vice Chair second.
Director Morrison?
Director Paulson.
Aye.
Director Wooten?
Aye.
Director Easton?
Aye.
The board would like to thank all of you for coming tonight and making this very clear. Really appreciate it, and we encourage your further involvement in our community and help, move this community forward. It's very important, and we're very happy to have you here tonight. We have a request to take a short break, so we'll take a 10-minute break. Oh, wait, we need a second for the break. I can call it, all right.
Thank you, board.
Thank you.
Great, all right, 10-minute break, we'll be with you in 10 minutes.
No, I'm just kidding.
Craig, I'll get you at home.
There you are. I know that.
Director Aitken?
Yeah.
Hello? Director Aitken, we're looking for you.
What's your statement?
Okay, we are reconvening our meeting at 7:45. And we are now on approval of consent agenda. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, we have. What do we do when we already have a first and second reading on that?
Move to amend the motion. We have a
We can make a friendly amendment, and either accepted or rejected.
Okay. So did you want to make a friendly amendment there, Colin? Colin wants to pull the check register, so that's a friendly amendment. Do you want to who made that motion? Felicity, do you want to accept the friendly, you want to change your motion to accept the consent agenda and pull the check register?
Yes, I'll accept the friendly.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No, we're still waiting for 2 votes. Ellie, you said, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Eric? Do you want to,
Said aye.
right, so we're waiting for you. No, okay, so it's 4-1. Okay, now on to open forum. And this time we can hear courteous, concise comments from our public. Would anybody like to address open forum?
That would be me.
Oh, great, thank you.
Hi, my name is Wayne Lowry, and I'm representing the El Dorado Hills Promise Foundation, which is a 501c3 that was created to support the El Dorado Hills Community Services. I am a former staff member from the CSD and also a former board member.
Am I not close enough?
Thank you. Yeah, bad habit. Also a former board member. I just served 2 terms on the CSD board, but no longer in that role. You probably read the paper, but the district recently purchased Bass Lake from Reston School District, and they're in the process of negotiating for 3 other parcels, which, when completed, will bring that project, that park site, up to 210 acres. The reason I'm here is because we've got 27 parks, and we've got some very nice parks, but this is very unique, and it's one that I think the community is going to be very, very interested in using. And one of the things that's unique about it, besides the fact that it has a lake, is the majority of the park will be open space with outdoor education opportunities. We're talking urban farm meetings that the high schools can get involved in, Ponderosa, Oak Ridge, of course. The elementary schools, Little Rescue and Buckeye, have shown a great deal of interest in the possible field trips out to the park. We've got naturalists involved, American Urban Conservancy has been involved with this, so we're building a whole bunch of partnerships on this thing. I was recently appointed for District 1 to serve on the County Parks and Recreation Commission, and I'm pitching this with this too. This is the kind of project that everybody in the western slope of the county is going to have some significant interest in. I brought a plan. I don't expect to get into full presentations. I know I'm not on your agenda, but I wanted you to be aware that we would welcome this district's involvement with open arms. We've done things together in the past. Hills spent countless hours working with each other, sharing equipment, training programs, and we've always had a very close relationship with Cameron Park. And this is more about me than anything else. I used to work with the team that did your fireworks at your show up here. I used to go up there on Saturday, load all I need to go, my memory's not working. We loaded all the fireworks and came back and shot them off and just had the best time. And Paul was instrumental in making that happen very easily. So congratulations on what you chose to do this evening. Anyway, the point here is I know that Cameron Park is dealing with some fiscal issues, and I'm not here to solicit money. I'm here to solicit a partnership where we can find ways to make this work. I'll show you the plans briefly when I finish here. One of the things in here is sports fields, and we know you guys are here for sports fields, and certainly El Dorado Hills are where we are. We have residents from the east of Bass Lake Road in El Dorado Hills CSD that play in your sports leagues, but they have to use your field. And so there's some mutual things going on here that I think we can make a win-win for everybody. So unless there's questions, I'll just quickly show you the plan, and I'll step out of the way.
One quick question.
Yeah.
Have a simple summary of project completion given to our town administrator board.
Sure. And there's a website that has some of this information, so I can make that available to.
I can come on up and show the map, and I can let the board know. Kevin Weller, General Manager for El Dorado Hills Community Services District. I think it was about a year ago, he came to the Parks and Recreation Committee and provided kind of it was, I don't think it was that plan. It was a plan that has kind of a bubble diagram on it, and that preceded that plan. And so, and Kevin had said that once there was a little bit more specificity, that he would come back to the Parks and Rec to the board to provide a more detailed plan. And so it sounds like maybe you might be zeroing in on that.
That's not a bad idea. The thing about this plan, just to give you a quick orientation, this is Rock Parkway, this is Bass Lake Road, coming through Bass Lake. This is the area they already bought. The county owns 40 acres on this side that we're in the process of negotiating.
I'm sorry, just a matter of procedure. This time is up, just
Yeah,
because it's
thank-
open floor.
Thank you, Eric.
Can I make a motion that we allow him
Yes.
some time to finish this up?
Do we have a motion for additional time? Second, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you for that. I'm glad you got that.
You only have 2 minutes.
Wayne, can I ask you, I just read about this. Where did I see that? Was it in the,
Village life in our area, and I think Mountain
Mount Democrat, right?
I'll go to the back room to look at it.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Mr. Rollins, the general manager, of El Dorado Hills, for how many, 22?
Sorry, 4 weeks.
How many years?
20 years.
20 years, general
You
manager.
said that, Holly, already. Yes, you said that.
Serrano is building, Serrano is building houses in this area. They own 12 and a half acres down here, so they have to do this as a county condition. And then El Dorado Irrigation District still has maintenance started here. They're relocating that to the Cove wastewater treatment plant. So we've already got a contract on that. We just have to wait for them to move out, and we'll take that over and demolish it. This is where the sports field is going to go. The dam is here. This is the area where we're talking about outdoor education. These dotted lines up here are proposed as golf course. I saw that one here. So this plan is still involved. The bubble diagram was pretty basic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interest in the sports field, but a huge amount of interest and excitement about the possibility of outdoor education. Studying the lake and water quality, all kinds of things. So it's so close.
What are you thinking for the big areas in the northeast?
Northeast.
Walking trails, and Indian Hills
So
Marshall?
walking trails, we're thinking day camps, maybe some areas where the scouts can have like little programs and so forth. There's so much potential that we see decades of years of Eagle Scout projects and building things, kiosks, campfire pits, outdoor education pits. Probably not the large group stuff like amphitheaters, concerts, because then we have to put a lot of money.
Valley Road towards Toronto.
Green Valley Road starting next to Pleasant Road School is what's bringing that out. You can see it's on the map here, this course, and that lake turn just right here.
Right there.
Yeah, so this is what it is now. This would be the extension, and Toronto is part of their project for the construction they're doing on the south side of that lake. They're having to do a traffic study right now. I also hope the county, anybody here in the county? Yeah, I won't ask you. I hope the county does a condition that we have to do improvements along the entire park site. Because that was a long time.
Okay, your time's up.
So we'll wait and we'll get you or Kevin or both of you guys back and we'll do it all.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Great, we have a whole other agenda to go through.